Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. So finally we are live, we're here, and as we promised, today we'll be doing a quick Q&A session about the admission. So here with me today, I have my colleague, Ms. Jasmine. So my name is Ms. Daria, International Affairs Officer, and helping me out today would be Ms. Jasmine, covering the Thai language in case there's any questions coming in Thai or it's easier to understand in Thai language, and I'll cover the English. So the reason why we wanted to go live is because obviously we have 4 days until the end of the early admission. And then today as well, we're starting our early international admission for BAScii for the next academic year. Because of all these timelines and the end of it, and we receive a lot of questions, and a lot of those questions are quite repetitive. Therefore, we thought it might be much easier. Bless you. Therefore, we thought it would be much easier for us to go live and then answer those questions you may have, as well as to show you where to find certain things that you've been asking us about and how to navigate the platform. So let's begin, and may I ask to bring on screen, first of all, Kun Jasmine herself, for her to introduce herself, and so you can know who she is.
Hi, I'm Jasmine. I don't know what I have said, but if you have any question in Thai and you understand something like a little bit special, please ask me. I will come in Thai in English, but English is better, is correct.
We'll be here both just in case. Plus, you also have parents who might be really interested in joining us, and therefore would be asking in Thai or prefer to ask in Thai. So, first of all, let us share the screen. Okay, technical issues, but we're here. So first of all, I want to mention that although we are covering questions about admission, if you have any other questions, please let us know. Whether you're watching it on YouTube or you're watching it on Facebook, you can send us information or the questions that you want us to cover in the chat, and we'll see them, and therefore we can address those concerns or questions right there. So please don't hesitate throughout this whole session, which we don't know how long it's going to last. Depending on how many questions you have, we'll be looking at the chat and answering your questions. So don't hesitate to ask right there throughout the whole event. And as you can see here, first we'll start with our website. So if you're a student who has already started the application, you've been here already, if you're interested in starting an application, that's the first place you'll go. So obviously, if you want to know more about the mobile BAScii program, you can roam around and you can read more about it. But we are currently discussing admission. So here's where we go, and here's where we click to see all the admission information. Once again, as I mentioned, your parents might be having quite a few questions on how the process works. So if you have parents who are interested, or you're a parent who thinks that maybe their kid would be interested in tuning in today and hearing the answers to the questions, please let them know so they can come and they can see it live and they can ask us questions. And we are here to help you through the process. It's a challenging time, so we understand, and we want to make it as easy as possible for all of you. So as we got into the admission, you can scroll down here and you'll see that right now we have 2 admission rounds open. One of which is the early admission round for Thai applicants, as it's specified here. And today is also the start of early international admission round. So we will be, first of all, covering most of the today we'll be covering the early admission rounds. So that is the first bit here. As you can see, we are closing our admission on the 24th of December, and therefore it's only 4 days left, and it's very important to get everything straightened out before that. So we'll be focusing on that admission round. I feel like we'll be getting also a lot of phone calls during this live stream, so don't mind the ringing, but those who don't join us will call and ask the same questions we'll be talking over today. So early admission round for Thai applicants. As you can see, it's specifically for Thai applicants. Therefore, there is a distinction. If you are a student who does have a Thai citizenship, but also has a citizenship outside of Thailand, then we would recommend you to go and apply through the early international admission round, which started today. However, you can still apply in this first round. So this first round is open to anyone who does have a Thai citizenship. That's why it's for Thai applicants. We receive a lot of questions about the admission requirements. So once again, as you go to our website, this is the details of the admission round. You click here, and then you can see all the information about that early admission round for Thai applicants right here. So we have several admission requirements, such as English and mathematics. So those are the tests that we need to see in order to get your application through. And this is the minimum score for all those that are available to be uploaded. So for English, you can see that these are the tests that we here accept, and you can see them not lower than. So this is the minimum score. Obviously, the higher your score, the better. These are the minimum. So in case your score is lower than this, you will not really get the application through to us, since that is the minimum one. And then at the same time, we are also able, you can submit more than one. So we prefer you to choose either, but obviously at least one of them you should be able to upload, but you can choose to submit more than one. We'll show you in the application system in a bit that you are able to give us more than one document for each of those proficiency tests. And the math. I feel like those who have started their application already know where to find this information. One thing we want to address is that there is this point. If you would like to submit either SAT or ACT, both for math and for English, so for both of those you can submit, but they have to be from the same test, meaning the same day. So you cannot choose to submit, let's say you're trying to submit ACT. You cannot submit English section from one test and math section from another test taken on different dates. They have to be from the same test, taken on the same day. That's important to note, because that is what we'll be looking for. And there is a section on the lack of tests that you might have due to the current situation, and we will allow you to request taking the tests in 𝗏𝗏𝗃 University, and we'll focus on that more when we're in the application system, because a lot of people also having some difficulty there. So we'll just cover that. E-portfolio is another part, and we'll show you also that in the application system. And this is the information, this is the evaluation criteria. So this is after you submit the application, how it will be evaluated, and the timeline. So all of the information you will need to know, all the details about the early admission are in this file, which you can find under the details for early admission round. And the portfolio template is also right next to it, and we will also cover it once we get to the application process. So if anyone has questions about where to find specific information, let us know, but I feel like that covers it up. So should we go into the next part where we actually start your application? Yeah, I think so. One very important tip before starting your application, if you haven't done so yet, is to actually take the time and compile all the documents, which are listed also here. You can go back to those details, and then you'll see the list of application documents, which is right here. all of them. So the advice from us to you is to actually get those documents ready in a folder somewhere separately, call it BAScii admission, then put all the documents that are listed here into that file so you don't confuse them, you don't submit or upload the wrong one. We have a lot of questions. A lot of times you will not be able to go after confirmation back into the system to check. So I think we can move on. I can see the question about the submission of SAT scores onto the 𝗓 admission website. So do I do it directly from College Board? Pimin, would you like to respond to that one? I don't. Should we microphone? Give us 1 second. Yeah, I mean we can. I think we can do it on speaker. Let's see. So if we speak, we can. So okay. In terms of submitting SAT score onto the 𝗓 admission website.
No, nothing. No, I don't want nothing from College Board. Don't send the code or anything. I need just you save the score in PDF file and have a score and have your name and attach it in the system, and we will check it in the system. Not send anything to us, and email or mail or anything.
Yeah,
Just submit.
I think that's an important part, that we don't really require you to send any hard copies or go through any third-party systems to submit documents to us. As we'll go into the application platform here, you'll see that, oh, here you go. This is today. This is us now. You'll be able to see that we have all the parts in the application system to upload those documents and to submit them in a PDF format, digital versions, electronic versions. If you have hard copies of certain certificates, you can scan them and upload. So we will not be requiring any hard copies for the first step of your application. That to keep in mind, that also we are going to verify your test scores at a later time if you're invited for the interview and you are proceeding to the next steps of application or admission. We will be looking at and verifying your test scores. So don't think that if we're not requiring hard copy, we're not going to be able to check, or that you can just put anything. Obviously, there's a lot of clauses in our admission announcement saying that you will acknowledge that all the information you provide to us is true and certain. So please don't try to fake any of the test score. If you do have that thought in the back of your mind, do not do that. We'll know, and that's really terrible to do. So however, at first, when you upload all the documents, digital versions are totally fine. And later on, we might require some of the copies at hand or certain information from you at a later time. But at the beginning, only the digital copies. So as we go into this admission platform, we go to log in. If you're a first-time user, can you help? If you're the first-time user, this is the where you go, and you'll create an account at the bottom there. So you'll click to create an account, and then you register your email. Check your email, and we'll be sending you automatically a password to get into the system, and then you'll go to log in, and you'll use this information in here. We have a little mock-up for you guys just to go through some of the key points in here. So yeah, we go on and we log in, and this is the first bits you have. Google. This is the first thing you see as you log into the 𝗓 admission platform. A few things to go over is you have a dashboard here.
a lot of people are also confused what that means. Basically, as you submit or fill in certain parts of the application system, those percentages will move, indicating that you are proceeding with your application. So profile, portfolio, test and score, and application fee are the 4 sections in which you need to complete to move forward with your applications. As it says here, as you reach 100% for each of this section, your application is submitted automatically. So that means it's done and we receive it. So the system gives it to us right as you reach 100% for each of those sections. And I think we can just quickly start with the profile part to give you an idea, because this is the first bit you'll have to fill in and get your information here. So we go into this profile. A few important things to note is that, first of all, I mean, it's all seems pretty straightforward. You fill in the general information, you fill in like most of the time. Okay, like we get most of the time, and we have a lot of people behind the scenes here helping this out, so don't mind us looking different places and stumbling upon certain things at times. Also, please indicate if you have trouble hearing us or there is a issue with the sound or the mic or anything like this. Let us know right away so we can make sure to fix it. So everything here seems pretty straightforward. Some questions would happen between nationality and second nationality. So this, if you have Thai citizenship and that's it, it's straightforward. You just fill in here your nationality and then you move on to the next section. However, there are certain times where a student will have a second nationality or a second citizenship, and this is where you can indicate such. A side note, however, if you do have a valid proof of your citizenship outside of Thailand, you can potentially also apply via the early international admission round or further ahead in the international admission round. So you have that option if you have a valid proof of your second nationality. I can see okay. First, how do I know if my foreign high school certificate is eligible to use for the admission? Um, Foreign high school certificate, will need more detail. If that is referring to the certificate received by high school outside of Thailand, you will need to go to high school equivalency certificate, which is this bit here. So if you are a student applying in the early admission round right now, which has still 4 days to submit your application, but you have graduated or currently attending or will graduate eventually from the school outside of Thailand, basically the school that is not approved by the Ministry of Education here in Thailand, you will need to gather a high school certificate equivalency. And this is the website that we're showing you right now. It's just questions come through, so I might get distracted. Don't mind us. So if your high school is elsewhere in Thailand but not in Thailand, you'll have to go to this platform, to this website, High School Certificate Equivalency System, operated by Chulalongkorn University. You can see the email, you can see the web address here. This is where you go, and this is where you will have to go sign up and submit a request for high school equivalency certificate. And then this system will issue that certificate, and you will be able to upload it into our system, certifying that your foreign high school certificate is eligible for our admission. So that's the question we have here. Quickly answering the question of where can I ask for help if there is a problem with an application. So it depends on what is the problem with an application. However, I think it's also here. First of all, there is line, which you actually can see right here in the system as you are filling in the information. You can just chat to us right here, click it and go through with it. However, also there is a lot of our contact information on our website. So obviously, as you are facing anything related to admission questions, you can go ahead for this email address here, which is 𝗓 admissions. You can send us a help request there, or you can also get to us via any of the channels. You can text us on Facebook, you can text us online. So all of those contacts are able to reach us. Phone calls also are an option. However, bear in mind that currently our offices are partially closed, so we might not have a staff available at a time to answer your questions. So to avoid those, feel free to email us. We are trying our best to respond to requests as quickly as we can. Facebook and line chats are also very easy to reach us out. Can we submit SAT math with IELTS English? Yes, you can. So going back, you can choose. So here's the thing: you can submit any of those listed, and they can be different. The only note you need to take, if you want to submit SAT for both math and English, or ACT for both math and English, they have to come from the same test. So that is the part where you need to make sure. But if you want to submit IELTS for one of them and SAT for another one, it's totally fine. You can do that as well. If I am Thai but I graduate from a foreign high school, which round do I apply for? So the school you graduate from does not define which admission round you go through. Instead, only your citizenship nationality defines which round you go through. So if you're Thai citizenship and that's the only one you got, even if you graduate from foreign high school, you go through the system in the early admission round right now, or there is going to be another round, which you can see here at a slightly later times. There will be another round available for Thai applicants on the 21st of February, but we advise you to, if you have the documents, to apply within this one. So once again, your school where you graduate from does not define your round that you go through. Only your current valid citizenship does. If you have dual and they're both valid, you can choose. If you have a foreign citizenship, you go through international round. If you only have Thai citizenship, you go through early admission round. So without the international part in it. There are dimensions for the photos in the application. No, there is no dimensions specified. You just uploaded the file no more than 10 megabytes. Okay. Yeah, so a photo we already mentioned. So maybe Pimin can help me with this one. What info do you need to put in for GPA if we took a GED?
You can put GED score instead.
I don't know how.
You can hear me because let me. No.
Huh? You can hear it.
Okay. Okay. Okay, you can. I can use your microphone. About what info?
It's fine.
Okay. What info you need to put in for GPA if we took GED? Maybe just put GED in E portfolio.
Yes. So first, once again, make sure you let us know if there's any problem with the sound or you cannot hear either of us. We're trying our best, but obviously we cannot hear it, so we might have some issues. However, just to follow through, if you do take GED, you can specify your GED score in where it's asking you for GPA. Just mention that it's a GED. So if it's in the portfolio, you can do that, and also if you are in the application platform as well. If there is problem with your documents, will it be notified? Yes. Well, this is the thing. Like, it depends on what kind of problem with your documents there is. If you upload to us, let's say, a document with a lower score for the test, and that's the problem, we will probably not notify you. However, if your application is valid in terms of your test score and the information filled in, and there's some typos or certain mistakes, we probably will contact you as much as we can help. However, that's why we mentioned earlier, please double check everything before you upload it. We'll also go through a little bit of the application platform now, so that you can see which are the parts that you might need to keep an eye on to make sure you don't make any mistakes. Yeah, so for the next admission rounds after the 21st of February, there will not be one any after the 21st of February. So the next admission round will, after this one ends, if you want to apply as a Thai citizen, you can go through another round for Thai applicants, which will go between 21st of February to 10th of March. That is the last chance for you to apply to BAScii program for the next academic year, starting in August 2022. So if you have documents, the three that we are asking for, which are most hard to get, which is English, math proficiency, and the portfolio, we encourage you to apply right now. There is still a little bit of time left, so if you get those documents and you have them, please go ahead and apply within this admission round, because there is more lead time. It's easier to make decisions, because the one that ends in March, obviously it is pretty close to the beginning of the beginning classes, beginning of the academic year in August. So there might be some of the overlaps, or you will have your own exams with the high schools, and therefore it becomes very tricky. So if you can apply within this one. Is the Thai admission website used for both international and Thai applicants, or do international applicants that want to apply for the early international admission round have to use a separate website? Website, no. So all the information will be here. So this is the same website. There is information for both of those rounds for early international admissions as well. You can read more details on the requirements, on the a slightly different timeline and schedule in here, and that's where you go to start your application for early international admission. So the platforms are slightly different, obviously, assisting with the two different types of applicants going through. The website is the same, the admission platform is different. So this is where you have to kind of make a decision if you are in a position to make decision about this, and specify which application you go through, and this is where you start. So from here on onwards, there's two different tracks, and that's I guess important to know. Back to this part, obviously we're gonna get some more questions and we'll be distracted with those, but so far I think we can go ahead. Oh, now you can see us both here. So this is where you fill the information in, and then you upload your photo, and then you upload your Thai ID or passport for foreigner, but this is for Thai applicants. So this is what you fill in: the profile, personal information, done. If there's no more questions, you're moving on. Double check everything, make sure it's all correct, and then you click next to proceed. We ask you all the time to make sure that the data is correct. So when you know, you can go ahead and click OK. Next is your address, which is also pretty straightforward. We already filled it in, right? Yeah, so this is the address you fill in, and then you click next to proceed. Once again, you double check and you confirm to go forward. Here is your parents' information. So we will need the information on your parents, your mother, your father. You put this information in here: contact person, emergency contact, just so that we have that at hand, if anything, and then you proceed to the next step. Also, once again, making sure everything is correct. Let us know if there are any questions on the step of profile, completion, because we feel like it's straightforward, but in your education status, that is, I guess, where some questions do come through. So here you need to look at your current education situation, right? There will be two types of applicants going through. First is the one who have not yet completed their high school, and those who have completed their high school. So perhaps you graduated either from a different system and you already graduated, or you are graduate from a year before, applying to university right now after a gap year. You consider both of those and you select which one you are. So obviously we have both statuses. We also accommodate for those who are currently studying high school. We understand you'll be graduating most likely around June and you'll have all those things ready, but therefore you choose which one you are. So let's say you are the most straightforward case that we have, which is students who are now in their high school final year, about to graduate soon. By the way, congratulations. You go through this and you choose that you're currently studying high school, and you fill in the information about your high school. And here is the tricky part. Don't forget. So here, education documents. You can either go through, you can either go through high school certificate equivalency system, which we showed to you before. It's this one, and get the documents from that system to be able to apply to our program here. Or where you will have to get those documents from that agency, from that system, which is a copy of diploma, a copy of academic transcripts, actual evidence certificate, provisional evidence. These are the documents you also have to get if your school is located elsewhere but Thailand. So for the questions previously asked, if I graduate from foreign high school, this also something to make sure of. If you do graduate from a different high school outside of Thailand, you will need to get those documents, which are here. However, if you graduate from school here in Thailand, you don't have to go through high school equivalent system unless you want to, and you can instead upload transcript. So you select transcript here, and there are two things you will have to upload: a copy of diploma or a copy of official document certifying that you are still in school, which is usually the case, as we indicated earlier. If you are still in school, you need to get a school to get your document that you are currently in the status of a student and when are you going to graduate. And then a copy of academic transcripts. So we also specify here what you need to be, and the website that we keep showing you is also here, so you can go right ahead and go through that website. We only accept PDF document as well as PNG and JPEG, just in case you are scanning your documents and this is how you get them. But obviously, best is PDF, and that's what we talked about before. You gather those documents, you save them, you name them properly. We don't have a standard naming, but make sure you don't name them something that we don't want to see, or some slang, or some final. I'm sure it's final.pdf. So make sure you name them correctly. You gather them all at first, and then you upload them here. Okay, so give me a second. Done. Okay, so obviously, if you do decide to go to high school certificate equivalency system, it might take longer than 1 day, of course. It takes around 7 working days for them to issue those documents. So if you haven't done that yet, and you still want to apply, We might be okay if you have already requested those documents and you're waiting for them to issue those documents and you will send us a proof of those. We might make an exception if you've requested those documents and submitted everything prior to the end of the admission. So if the only reason why you cannot upload the document is because you've done them but the system hasn't given them back to you yet and approved them yet, we might be able to wait for those, but you will need to have proof and everything being done within the timeline. It's just we're trying to assist you since we know that some processes take longer. We might be able to be okay with it. However, it's not that you finish the admission timeline is done and then you decide to do that. That's not going to be the case. Just if it takes longer for that agency, that is the external one in 𝗔𝗃, to take time to get your documents ready. So let's proceed. We have here a copy of diploma. I think we can use this one. And we have a mock-up for you guys, pretending like we're one of you, so we know all the issues related to. Let's just go with these two. And then once again, you check everything and then you upload those documents. So here will be the automatic indication of your background listed previously in your status. So it will show automatically what is the school that you've filled in the page before. You can also add an education background if you want to add more than just one. So if you have changed schools or you like to indicate something before the last school you're graduating from, you can also list it here. Perhaps you'd like to share with us here a school that you've been before. If it was abroad, you'll specify the dates and the level and the name of school. If you want to do it to show off, quote unquote, your experience, you don't have to do it here. There's also a section in the portfolio where you can specify that academic background in more detail. So you don't necessarily have to indicate it here unless you really want to, or if it's an important piece of information for us to know as we are moving forward. So this is, as you can see here, the last bit of your profile. So that is something you have to fill in before moving forward. Everything has to be true. Everything has to be checked. And once you click register, you will not go back and will not be able to go back to change things. That's very important. That's why we keep saying to make sure that you check everything. Okay. And we click register, and then we go to the next step. Okay. So we had a question in terms of the last day for application, which is indicated as 24th. So that means that the actual time is the 24th of December midnight. So it's Friday. So if it says 24th, it's not when the time changes to the 24th. It's the time when it's about to change to Saturday, 25th. So you have until 11:59 p.m. on a Friday night to finish your application and submit everything.
But please do it before 24 because sometimes if you come...
You unmute yourself.
Please do it before 24 if you can do, because sometimes in 24 we have a lot of people comes and the system will be earlier sometimes, but you not click finish in and click in application fee in the last process that we do. And if you not do it in 24, it means you cannot apply with us. And for safe, please do it within 23rd, right? 23rd.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, it's very important. don't ever leave things for the last day, because obviously, like you mentioned in the question before, will there be a problem with my documents, and will we be notified? Sometimes as we go through those rounds, we have a look, and there are sometimes we spot issues with your documents before, and we might be able to help you out and support you and contact you for clarifying certain things about it. And if you keep it all to the last day, we will not have the time to help you out. So like my colleague mentioned, make sure you apply at least with some lead time before the end of the admission, at least a day if you'd like to leave everything until the last moment. Um, so for now, the early international admission round, you cannot click the link for starting your application. It should be able within today, tomorrow. Don't worry, as you could see, the early international admission round is until 4th of February. So you still have plenty of time to get your documents and everything into the system. So keep an eye. The link should be available today, tomorrow. But also, before you jump into it, make sure, I cannot stress enough how important it is to make sure you have all the documents ready. I know you want to start it, but the first thing, even in the early international admission, will be the same as we showed today. It will be just profile information. So you will not see the rest of the system until you fill that in. And obviously you have a lot of time before the 4th of February still. So first and foremost, if my advice, if you plan to apply in early international admission, yes, you cannot start your application yet, but go into details, check all the information listed here, all the tests, all the exemptions, all the important side notes, everything, the schedule. Then make sure you have the documents ready and lined up. You have portfolio to care about as well. Very important piece of this application is the portfolio. So I understand your eagerness to start. Just make sure you prepare beforehand everything. Do foreign applicants still have to request, even if they already have an IB diploma? Yeah, if you're foreign applicants who have graduated the school outside of Thailand, yes, you do. You go here, and there is a criteria for different systems, and you can see here the International Baccalaureate Diploma Program. International Baccalaureate Diploma or IB Diploma course results. Here is the requirements to get equivalency certificate. So the base rule is if you have graduated or plan to graduate high school outside of Thailand, you need a high school equivalency certificate. That's the rule for Chulalongkorn University. It's not our own rule. It's a requirement that will allow us to, therefore, if you're a successful applicant, enroll you into the school, just because then we'll have proof that your education, higher education, it's not high school education, have been validated by Chulalongkorn University to be eligible for enrollment. That is it. So yes, if you are a foreign applicant, even if you graduated IB, British system, New Zealand system, American system, any of those systems, you have to get this equivalency certificate. And we mentioned to you, it takes some time, at least 7 working days. Another thing to consider before jumping into the application is to get those documents done. And you can read a little bit more about it here. In these sections of the details here, the enrollment conditions. So here is the section on this to see and to go forward with. If I took SAT test on March, will it be too late for second admission round? We will show you an option you have if you're worried. I'm not sure about specifically on March. I'm not sure with the current situation how confident you should be relying on the test to be there in place. We will show you an opportunity that we have here in Chula in case you do not have a test or worried that you will not get the test results on time. I think if it's still for second admission round. As we mentioned to you, the second admission round will end in March, and so I feel like it might be too late. I'm sorry, I lost the system. The next round for admission from the 21st of February will end on the 10th of March. So if you are sitting the test SAT in March, it might be too late to get that results in time before the next admission. So we would recommend to either try your best to take the test earlier, or use an option that we have here, and I'll show you in a bit in terms of the test score. If I have more than one test score, which one should I submit? As many as you can that fit in the requirements. It is not necessary to upload as many because we at least need one, but obviously your application looks stronger if you have more than one that is above the minimum for those requirements. So okay, moving on. So you've completed the profile. Here you can see it's 100% done. You're good to go. That's it. Your profile is now complete. Next, you look at the left side here, and you can see that you need to go through the next step, which is the ePortfolio. A lot of questions about ePortfolio. You can find the template for ePortfolio on the website right next to the details. It's here. This is the file that you download and you fill in the any PDF readers that are available. It's a form, so you can even, I think, start typing it up right here in the browser. A lot of times they will support that as well. So it's a form, and this is where you need to fill in to submit to us as a portfolio. We understand that portfolio that we request you to submit is not a very typical one. A lot of times you'll have creative portfolios that are also available for different design and different style. This portfolio that we are doing now is specifically for our school, and it's our template that is been approved by our school and is the only one you can use to apply to our program. A lot of questions, so thank you so much for getting up. You can know what is the issues you're facing with this whole application process. So come with my information PDF file. What should I do? So there's different opportunities. Okay, let us see again. Technical issues. Is it better now? Okay, my colleagues. Is it okay? My colleague's saying I have a problem with the sound. Okay, it's back. I think maybe my headphones. Okay, so I'm back with you. I'm here. Okay. We're talking about portfolio. So an important part of the application process is the portfolio. It's your opportunity to showcase yourself and what you are and what you've done, and really show us everything you're about. As you can see, the sections we are asking you are slightly limiting. To an extent, you are not able, I lost it. You're not really able to show us much about your personality or your interests. So ePortfolio is an option for you to do so. So first of all, you should go again in the details. And I cannot stress enough how important this file is. It says everything you usually ask us about. So first look here, and if you don't have this information, then elsewhere you can contact us, but first please look here. So ePortfolio, here are some of the examples of what you can put in the portfolio. You can read it, you can understand what is it all about and what are we looking for. Then you go to the template and you once again look at the template and you download that. There are different sections, and then specifically ask you what is your what do you need to fill in here. So once again, here you've been asking us about the GPA. If you've done a GED, you can put it here as well. So
you go through and then you fill in some of this information yet again. If you haven't done either of those, just don't fill it in. It's fine. You can leave some of the things empty if they are not relevant to your specific case. So there's several sections that would allow you to tell us a little bit more about yourself. And then we also ask you for your creativity and innovation idea. Keep in mind that this is first is an opportunity to show yourself and showcase your interests and your skills. At the same time, perhaps this portfolio will be used in your interview process. So sometimes we would look at the portfolios when we are meeting candidates for the interviews, and then we'll use those portfolios to help us with the interview and ask you some certain things about what you've done or your experiences. So another reason why, please don't lie in your portfolio. There is a good chance we might ask you about it, and if you are not able to answer, it's pretty obvious that you've lied about it. So please don't do that. Just make sure you treat this process as an official process, very serious, and make sure that everything is correct. There is a difference between making something sound a bit more exciting versus lying about it. So you are, if you know how to, you can do the first one, but never do the latter. Don't lie in your portfolio. Just an advice in the future, for the future as well. So here you have some options to upload pictures and then write a bit more about it, about your activities. We do understand that you might have not done as much in the recent years due to the current situation. However, I'm sure you've all been still doing a lot of things in school, even if they are online. So just use those. And if you're having trouble, about a month ago, we've had an event called BAScii Showcase. The recording of that event is still on our YouTube and Facebook. You can scroll down and you'll see that there was a whole section with one of our mentors, Mr. Matas, and he was talking about personal branding and how to brand yourself and how to use specific things that you might not think are relevant for your portfolio here to your advantage, such as even reading some books or watching some TV shows. You can twist a lot of those things to show your character. So if you're having trouble and need some inspiration, this is one of the options and resources you can go to help you fill that information in. Okay. If you do have some issues with the portfolio and you have tried everything you could possibly come up with using software, application, browser, whatever, and you can still not figure out how to do it or save it, you can contact us at the previous channels mentioned. So either email or line or Facebook, and we'll send you the Word file and you can fill it in and feel easier perhaps, but PDF should be okay. It's a form, guys. Side note, if you can't figure that out, you might have a challenge going into like a more complicated technological things. So please check before with your software that you're able to fill in. As you can see here, like it's Google Chrome, and I can type things in it, and I can edit certain things in there. So you know, and then download it, and then that'll be already half of the portfolio done, if not more, in case. So, but if you are having some certain issues, let us know, and we will send you the Word file. Do we get a higher application score the more test scores we submit? No need to sorry for the overloading questions, not at all. No, you don't get a higher application score. It's more so just if you have done more, we'll just proceed with the best one. You can, it's really up to the applicants. For some reason, some people want to upload as many as 3, 5 of those scores if they taken them. We will consider, the highest one in the evaluation process of it. So, but you can submit as many what is grade of year? Grade of year is what grade you're in your school. It's grade 11, grade 12, I don't know, grade 13 sometimes. It depends on your curriculum. Is it required to have information for every section in the portfolio? Yes and no. Well, even though it's not required to have, you can actually upload the portfolio half empty if you wish to. But we are going back to this part here, and we go scroll down to this part here, and you can see that your e-portfolio actually weights 20% of your evaluation of your application. So that means the better your portfolio, the more full it is, the more things complete in there, the more things you complete in there, the better score you'll have for your portfolio. Everything is scored. Like, we have our internal processes where we combine all of these things and then we weight them at this percentage. 20% is almost 1/4 of your whole application score, in which we decide to whether to proceed with the interview, whether to proceed with actually the enrollment, because interview is a part of it. So you can see it's 20% is your e-portfolio. So advice, fill in as much as you can. Okay, so should we go back? I'm lost with all the tabs. I'm sure you guys are the same way as me, the whole 1,000 of tabs. So things to remember, it's a PDF file that you have to upload complete with your portfolio. Only one file. It's A4, so and no more than 10 pages, which is the template. So please don't change it. Just fill in what you got. Maximum 10 megabytes. It's depending on the pictures you add. And after you're done, you choose the file, you click portfolio, and then you upload it. And it shows up here, and you're good to go. This is the process of submitting your portfolio. Pretty straightforward, just one file, but a lot of thought has to come into this, so make sure that you do. And you then see ePortfolio has now this green mark, means that you're done. Going back to the dashboard, you have, ta-da, 100%. Pretty easy. Well, I think the preparation is difficult, but the application uploading is easy. Okay, test score. I think that's the biggest part of your application somewhat, and it's the most complex one. A lot of things. I'm sorry, I clicked back into the score. Sorry, I'm covering my screen so I cannot see much. Okay, application score. Would you like to explain part? Do you want to cover the? Okay, so we have application requirements that you can see here. They are same ones as listed in the details that I keep telling you about, the magic file with all the information in it. This is once again list here of the files that you can submit to us for your proficiency tests in mathematics and English. So you will fill those in the portfolio just to have them in that file, and you will also have a whole section right here to upload them. However, also, one thing to know, in case you want to use some of your old tests, they need to be at least 2 years and not older than this. Important. And then the same that if you want to submit for both of the sections, English and math, either SAT or ACT, they have to be from the same day, same test. Okay, so this is the part where I feel like it gets a bit confusing, and we wanted to cover a bit more in it. So I think it's an important part to know. Perhaps, Pimin, would you like to explain it in Thai language to make it easier to understand what this part is about, which is the University Academic Testing Center?
Okay, let me explain in Thai about a test request from Julaiongkorn University. อันนี้ค่ะสำหรับใครก็ตามที่ไม่มีคะแนนด้านบนที่โชว์อยู่ตรงนี้อย่างเช่นไม่มีคะแนนในฝั่งภาษาอังกฤษเลยหรือไม่มีคะแนนในฝั่งแมทเลยแต่ว่าเพราะว่าสนามสอบไม่เปิดสามารถ submit test score ตรงนี้ได้โดยการกดสมมุติถ้าต้องการทำการทดสอบก็คือกดลงไปแล้วก็ดาวน์โหลดแบบฟอร์มทางด้านนี้สักครู่นะคะแล้วก็ดาวน์โหลดแพลตฟอร์มทางด้านนี้มันจะเป็นแพลตฟอร์มที่ให้กรอกว่าต้องการ take the test แต่ว่าก็มีให้เลือกว่าต้องการ take อะไรอย่างเช่น CU Tech หรือว่า CU Ad แต่ว่าข้ออันนี้ก็คือถ้าเกิดเลือกในการ take the test อันนี้ค่ะมันจะไม่สามารถ submit คะแนนอื่นได้อย่างเช่นตอนนี้กำลังรอคะแนน IELTS อยู่แต่ว่าไม่รู้ว่าคะแนน IELTS ได้เท่าไหร่แล้วก็กรอกใบนี้ลงไปแล้วsubmit ในระบบพอ submit ในระบบปุ๊บคะแนน IELTS ไม่ว่าจะได้เท่าไหร่ก็ตามจุฬาจะไม่รับคะแนนนั้นจะรับแต่คะแนนที่ทำการสอบอันนี้อย่างเดียวแต่ว่าสำหรับนิสิตคนไหนที่ต้องการจะสอบก็ทำแบบฟอร์มนี้นะคะแล้วก็ attach กลับเข้ามาในระบบโดยการอัปโหลดนี่นะคะแล้วก็ choose ไฟล์เข้ามาสมมติเป็นไฟล์นี้แล้วก็ submit พอ submit เสร็จคลิกเข้าไปที่เว็บไซต์ของการทดสอบและเข้าไปเลือกแล้วก็สมัครการสอบแล้วก็เสร็จแล้วค่ะแต่ว่าการสอบเดี๋ยวจะมีข้อมูลบอกทีหลังว่าต้องสอบวันไหนสอบเมื่อไหร่ส่วนคะแนนนะคะก็จะออกภายในระยะเวลาที่กำหนดแล้วก็สามารถเอามาซับมิตในระบบได้แต่ว่าข้อควรระวังก็คือไม่สามารถใช้คะแนนอื่นได้อีกแล้วถ้าเกิดกดยอมรับใบนี้แต่สำหรับนิสิตที่มีคะแนนอื่นแล้วโดยที่ไม่ต้องการทดสอบต้องกดคลิกที่ตรงนี้ค่ะสีแดงแล้วก็จะให้เลือกเทสสกอร์เราก็เลือกเทสสกอร์ที่เรามีจะเป็น IELTS TOEFL หรือ SAT และที่ซับเสร็จแล้วมันมีเอกสารตัวนี้ค่ะตัวเดิมที่ให้เลือกต้องกดคลิกดูดีว่าเราจะไม่ทำการทดสอบนี้เนื่องจากมีคะแนนทดสอบแล้วเซ็นชื่อหลังจากนั้นเซฟไฟล์อัปโหลดกลับเข้ามาในระบบก็จะเสร็จเรียบร้อยเพราะว่าถ้าบางท่านไม่ทำกระบวนการนี้มันจะเอกสารจะค้างอยู่ที่ 67%แล้วก็ไม่สามารถไปพาร์ทอื่นได้เพราะว่าส่วนนี้ยังไม่สำเร็จเพราะฉะนั้นก็คือต้องทำทุกคนที่สมัครต้องดาวน์โหลดฟอร์มนี้แล้วก็ไม่ว่าจะสอบหรือไม่สอบก็ตามแล้วก็อัปโหลดกลับเข้ามาในระบบนะคะมันก็จะกลายเป็น 100% พอดีโอเค It's your turn Daria finish in Thai
Okay. I just feel like sometimes some of the specific things, perhaps it's easier to explain in Thai because this is the bit that is a bit complicated. Don't know. Let us know if you have any questions on that regard. But some of you have asked previously for SAT test that if you take it on March, if it will be too late. We do have an option for you, as Kun Jasmine explained, that you can take the test here in Chulalongkorn University. You instead of submitting those tests above, you can request to submit the test for Chulalongkorn University Academic Testing Center. You click yes, I would. You let us know, and then we will use those scores in your application only, so you will not be able to jump back to submitting other scores afterwards. But if not, you submit any of those scores available above. You go here to upload test scores. Let's say you upload IELTS on 6.5, I think. Here, and let's say any day, just yeah. Kun Jasmine lives in the future. Okay, so you choose file, let's say, let's pretend like this is the score. You add proficiency test, and you'll see that pops up here automatically. So in your English proficiency test, as we mentioned, you can submit more than one. We'll use the maximum one you got, the best score you got. The same you'll do for math proficiencies here. So you go down, you choose the test score, you fill in the score, test date, you upload it, the evidence for it, and then you add. As we mentioned, It can be just a PDF or PNG or JPEG with your score. This is for our reference. Later, if you are eligible for an interview and we invite you further, we will have to validate your score. But before that, you just upload it in the digital format, either in PDF, PNG, or JPEG. How? Yes.
Okay, sorry for interrupting. In more information for special tests from Chulalongkorn University, it will have in 5th to 9th of January. And if you got the score, it's the score within 9th January, please submit it to us after you got the score. Okay.
Okay, so this is the option for those who have not yet been able to obtain the test result for math or English proficiency and would prefer to take it in the Chulalongkorn University Academic Testing Center. Even if you do decide to not request a test from Chula and you prefer to upload English proficiency and math proficiency out of the list, you will still need, and I think we mentioned it already, you'll still need to download and fill in the request form. You just need to reject that request and then upload it here. So that file that Ms. Jasmine showed you, you'll need to click that you do not require to register for those tests, save it, and then upload it to us. So either way, if you are or not submitting the tests from Chula, you need to specify that and upload it back to us. After you're done, so this is the test. After you're done, in your dashboard. Oh, see, I only done it to 33%. Have to finish. Okay, so no, I wouldn't. IELTS. That's math. What's the score? What's the math score? How good of a student do you want to be? Okay, we're a really good student. Okay. Upload the file. See, that's what you go through the whole time you do that. You add it, and magic, it appears on your math proficiency. Then you make sure you upload that file. Let me check. Have I done everything? Oh, sorry. What have I not done?
Because you're not.
No, I wouldn't.
Submit
Oh,
the document that I said before.
I did.
To download.
I did. Add a test request form.
Yes.
There. Just don't be like me. Don't forget to actually click it. Click this little green button. So that pops up here. And then you're done. So as you could see, if you've done your test scores and you can see it's only 67% done, it's most likely that last bit about the testing center in Chulalongkorn University. So make sure you go down to that section, download it, fill it in, choose file, add a test request form. Even if you are rejecting that test, you fill it in, you add it, you click green button, you show it, it appears here, and then
You have 100%.
and then we're good.
Yeah.
And then we're in test and score. So everything is great. One bit I wanted to mention to you. Wait. As you fill in your profile, when you do that, you will show this application ID. So after you finish and confirm your profile, you'll receive the application ID number, which is right here at the top. Also, that is the same one that you will add in your portfolio template right up here. So as you're doing your portfolio, this first bit here, application ID, that little part, it comes from the system up here in the dashboard. This is your application ID. That is also then referred to in your payment slip, I believe. So this is the number. This is also the number you should be referring to if you have problems with your application. So if you email it to us or you chat us on line or Facebook, make sure you have access to that number, so at least the first part is filled in. Therefore, we can find your application and specifically what you are having trouble with. So always use that as a reference to your application concern or inquiry or problem. So after you're done, after you can see all those hundreds, beautiful hundreds in your profile, portfolio, and the test, you then click check. And then you check this information, and this is your payment information. So as we mentioned, this is your application ID. It's automatic, but just make sure that it's the same one that is in your system, which is this one. You make sure that everything here is correct. It's also from your profile section, but just in case, you will have to pay a 1,000 Thai baht non-refundable application fee to get your submission to our program. The payment due date is the same as the application, so your application will not go through unless you complete that step. Therefore, make sure that you do that within the time frame. You can pay through bank transfer or mobile banking. You don't have to get to the counter. You can do it from the comfort of your home, like we all do most of the time here when we pay for things. Just make sure you double check everything. All the information is here. And this is where you transfer 1,000 Thai baht for the application fee. You can print this page and go, or you can just use that information and make sure that you refer to all of those things to us. And then last but not least, you go to the application fee payment section. After you checked everything and you saw that information about the payment, you then upload your application fee payment slip, whether that is done in the counter or whether it's done on your mobile. You can just use that image and then you upload it as your application fee slip. So this is what you do, and this is the last step of your application. And as you do that, you will receive our congratulations and the fact that you submitted your application to BAScii program. So that is it. That is the last bit. Well, you will not be able to change anything after that. You're not able to change much prior to that as you complete each step. That's why we emphasize yet again, make sure that everything is correct. We are able to help you out if you had some issue of submitting a wrong document and you no longer can change it. You can email to us about that issue. You can use your application ID and specify what is the issue, what documents you made mistake at, and you want to resubmit. However, you may understand that as we are approaching the deadline for admission, we are very limited in our time and resources to help every single person. So there's a chance that we might not get to your request on time. So it's very important not to make those mistakes and try to avoid them unless it's absolutely an issue that you have sorted, that you have to have sorted out. Then you surely contact us, let us know. We'll try to help you, but you understand that it's almost a deadline and there's a lot of inquiries and there's a lot of students, and we might not get to your request, and that's us being honest. So make sure that you try your best to complete everything as much as you can and in time. We had the question that I skipped to address, and I apologize for that, in terms of what are the judging criteria for the creativity idea. People who evaluate your portfolio are our professors. Most of them are from the section of Project Seed, either mentors or professors who also act as mentors. And we also have our Project Seed coordinators. So those people who are in our school helping students with their projects. So I will not be able to tell you specific on the judging criteria for them, but they will evaluate your potential more so than completion of the idea. So we encourage you to be as creative as you can. to try and look. What would help is looking at our program structure and our specializations. Perhaps your creativity idea can fall through in some of those specializations, or at least reflect some of those things that we are doing here at the school, making it more relevant. So I feel like that would help you with getting a better score for your creativity idea. Obviously, we're not gonna be the creativity here is not in terms of your skill of graphic design or artistic skills per se. They're more so with the idea and the creativity in the design thinking part creative thinking, critical thinking of your idea, more so than the artistic skills. So I wouldn't worry too much if you don't have that you're not confident enough in the artistic set or design skill. It's more about the thinking, creativity, critical thinking, and making sure that your idea is perhaps aligned with our BAScii structure or where our school stands for. That would definitely help, because you are applying to BAScii. You should be aware of what we stand for and what is kind of our direction in the classes that we have. So it would really be great to see that in portfolio and reflected in the portfolio. You can go back as you can see here and have a look. Is that the dashboard?
Yeah.
Dashboard.
When you finish everything, it's 100%.
Yeah.
You
So
can check your profile.
so you can go back and double check everything again in case there is some mistake that you still have the time to fix and let us know about. Don't hesitate to contact our website on email website. Mm, on the website there is like a line chat and everything. You can find where to contact us. So I feel like that should cover the process from start to finish of how you apply to our program, and you can refer to the so many tabs. Uh, you can refer to why do I have so, you can refer to the following document. I'm sorry, I have so many tabs to deal with. You can refer to the following document to see the timeline as you are applying to the early admission. You can see where the announcement will be for the eligible applicants for aptitude test and interview, which is 12th of January. So from the 24th of December, you'll have to wait until 12th of January to get everything. Hope with all the pressure, you can still enjoy the holidays and celebrate and just forget for a little bit about the whole process, as it's very stressful. And the interview, aptitude test and interview, we've already secured a date, which is the 15th of January. So 12th of January, we'll announce the candidates who are invited for the interview, and 15th of January. So it was initially between those dates, so it has been already specified for 15th of January to be the day when we're doing test, aptitude test and interview. We're doing it online, so there's no need or necessity up until much later to come by the university. We're still partially closed, so you might not even find us here some of the times, at least not all of us. We wish we could invite you and have you here and chat with you all in person, but unfortunately, in the current circumstances, we cannot. So we'll hope to see those of you who are applying to us on the 15th of January and during the interview, and we wish you all the best of luck to get to that point and part of the process. I feel like we already here for quite a bit of time, so I think we're gonna end this live stream with the Q&As. And thank you so much for getting your questions to us. It was great to know what you're struggling with, so we can help you and know how to address those issues. And if you have any further questions that you have not had addressed in this particular Q&A and you still are struggling, please go on to, I am all over the place, I don't remember where things are. Please go and check the contact us page, and just don't hesitate to contact us for the admission. This is the email you use. It's sciadmissions@chula.ac.th, and you can also use it on Facebook. We're trying our best to reply as quickly as we can, get your questions there, but as we mentioned, there's a lot of documents you can refer to for a lot of those questions you have. So it's not yet too late for those who are applying in the early admission. 4 days, there's plenty if you got all the documents settled just to upload them, and we encourage you and go ahead, and we wish you all the best with it. If you are a student who are applying in early international admission, start your process now. Get your questions to us, and we most likely are going to do a separate Q&A or some kind of event for the early international admission. As you are going through the process, we'll help you out as well. But it's time to start now, so start getting ready. Other than this, I feel like we're pretty much covered it all, and we hope it helped you with some of the things you've been wondering. And yeah, that's pretty much it for me. Okay, so we're gonna end it here. Have a great end of the day. This live stream will be saved on our wherever you're watching it, so you can go back and check something out later if you need to. And we hope that you go through this whole application to university process seamlessly, and we wish you the best of luck. So have a great end of the day, and bye bye from BAScii.